You ever found yourself arguing with a chatbot that's just confidently, stubbornly wrong? We call these things hallucinations. But what if they're actually something deeper? What if we could fix AI's biggest flaws not with more code, but with a tool we use for human psychology? Okay, let's get into this, because it's a fascinating idea.
So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll nail down what an AI delusion actually is. Then we'll look at why just throwing more data at the problem is failing. After that, we'll get to the really cool part, the idea of therapy for an algorithm. We'll see how that would even work, and wrap up with why this could be a total game changer for our future with AI.
I know, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? Can an AI really have a delusion? But this is the exact question that's pushing a whole new way of thinking about AI safety. It shifts the problem from being just a simple glitch in the system to something more like a flawed way of thinking.
So what are we really talking about with these AI delusions? Look, this isn't about a simple typo or a search engine grabbing the wrong date. No, this is way deeper. It's about a persistent, high-confidence error. It's an AI that isn't just wrong, it acts like it genuinely believes its own flawed answer.
The specific problem we're going after is called a high belief hallucination. And this is the most frustrating, most stubborn kind of mistake you'll see. The AI isn't just making a wild guess because it doesn't have the facts. The crazy part is, it often has the correct information right there, but it ignores it and confidently goes with the wrong answer anyway. You know, this comparison from the source material just nails it. It really is like a person who's all in on a conspiracy theory, even when you show them mountains of evidence to the contrary. The problem isn't a lack of information. The problem is with the reasoning process itself. The AI has somehow built a broken logic path in its own head, and it just keeps going down it.
And that leads us to a really big problem. The old way of fixing this stuff just isn't cutting it. For years, the go-to solution was basically just throw more data at it. The hope was that you could just drown out the bad answers with more good ones. But, well, that's completely missing the point.
Okay, so look at this. On the left, you've got the old method, reinforcement learning. It's basically like giving the AI a thumbs down and saying, nope, wrong answer. Sure, the AI might learn the correct output for that one time, but it never ever understands why its original thinking was so off. But on the right, you see the new idea, cognitive therapy. This is totally different. This is like sitting the AI down and saying, hey, let's talk about your logic here. It's all about fixing the broken reasoning process, not just slapping a band-aid on the final answer.
So if the problem looks and acts a lot like a human cognitive issue, maybe the solution should be a human one too. And this is where we get to the really wild idea. What if we could apply the principles of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, to a large language model?
And here's the absolute heart of it. Instead of an AI that just mindlessly spits out the next most likely word, the goal is to build one that can actually pause, reflect, and ask itself, wait a second, is what I'm about to say actually true? We want to train it to question its own thoughts. Basically, we want to give it the gift of self-doubt.
And this is how it would actually play out in practice. The AI gets trained to run this cognitive restructuring loop. So first, it flags a thought that might be a problem. Step 2, it challenges that thought. It asks itself, what's the evidence for this? Is my logic solid? And then step 3, if the logic is shaky, it restructures its thinking before it gives you an answer. It is literally therapy for an algorithm. Okay, this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But how in the world do you test it? I mean, how do you actually put an AI on a therapist's couch? Well, researchers have laid out a pretty clear experiment to figure that out. So here's the proposed setup. You've got your control group, and they get the standard training, that simple thumbs up, thumbs down feedback we talked about. But then you have the experimental group. They get the new CBT style training. When this AI makes a mistake, it's not just told it's wrong. It's prompted to explain why its own logic failed, and then to figure out a better way. And then for both groups, you'd measure their progress with something called a delusion index to see which one ends up being more reasonable. So why should you care about any of this? I mean, this is so much bigger than just getting more accurate answers from a chatbot. This is about fundamentally changing our relationship with AI. It's about building a future where we can actually trust these digital tools to be our partners.
I mean, just think about the potential impact here. We're talking about drastically reducing those AI hallucinations, for one, creating digital assistants we can actually rely on. And this is huge, building an AI that can self-correct its own logic. This is how we finally bridge the gap between machine learning and human psychology. It's how we move beyond simple chatbots and start creating true thinking partners.
And that really leaves us with a final, powerful thought to chew on. We spend so much time worrying about the sci-fi scenario of AI becoming sentient or conscious, but maybe we're missing the point.
What if the most important, the most urgent step right now isn't making AI sentient, but just making it sane, making it reasonable?
This mind-bending idea of applying human psychology to cure algorithms is exactly the kind of incredible insight you can explore on the Very One platform.
If you're as excited as we are about the quest for smarter, saner AI, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more breakthroughs. You can dive a lot deeper into this research and so much more over on the Very One platform. Thanks for watching.